Well, the Queen is to miss this year's Buckingham Palace garden parties, a mainstay of the royal calendar, in another slightly worrying sign that we're drawing ever closer to a major transition in our monarchy. The journalist and author Tina Brown has for decades had incredible access and insight into the royal family, and her new book, The Palace Papers, is packed with juicy revelations. And Tina joins me now. Well, lovely to see you.
Well, it's lovely to see you, and what an excitement to see Brian Cox in the green room.
I mean, the legend.
A legend. I'm a
My favourite TV character.
Oh, my God, I'm a junkie. I just...
Logan Roy. I'm going to tell him, I have a WhatsApp chat group with my sons where I'm Logan, and I send memes as Logan, and they actually all want to be Roman. They all want to be the fun one. But we're going to speak to Brian, obviously, in a moment. Tina, what a book this is. I didn't think you could beat your Diana one. This is better in a way because it's so multifaceted, covers so many people. And right now, there's a really, I think, massive question mark. When you see the Queen missing all the summer garden parties, you know she's frail, she's 96, she's lost Philip, she's got all this stuff going on with her health. You think, we're going to have to contemplate the unthinkable. You know, for you and me, our entire lives, we've only had one monarch. And if she does leave us, what happens next?
It's a very worrying moment. It's a perilous moment. I mean, she's been on the money for 70 years.
It's amazing.
You know? I mean, we just can't imagine life without her. And I think it's going to be a massive kind of tsunami of, you know, grief and instability in this country, a kind of identity crisis. I don't think we know how to be British anymore without the Queen.
It will be a remarkable moment, won't it?
Yeah, it will be. And I think for Charles, it's a challenge. He's gonna have to be the one now to right this ship and to sail.
Is he up to the challenge? I mean, from reading your book, there's so many great stories about them all. And I think you've captured, from what I know about a lot of the personalities, you've captured them so well. Charles has been the king in waiting for so long. Is he up for this massive challenge?
Well, it's interesting. If he were ever to become king, this is the moment. Because, you know, his passions for conservation and climate change concerns, all of that stuff, is actually now absolutely in sync with his own people. So he's kind of come into his own moment of time, and he's going to have to be a transitional monarch. He hasn't got a great deal of time, and his role is going to have to really be to modernise and steer the ship to be ready for William.
His trump card to me actually is Camilla, who I know well. I really like her personally. I think she's been the one calming constant in his life, actually. But we're already reading that Prince Harry is planning with his book coming out this year, which may ruin the entire Platinum Jubilee, that his book may be targeting Camilla as a kind of revenge for what he perceives his father did to his mother.
There's a great deal of concern that that's what he will do. And I hope he doesn't, because actually I understand his bitterness because of the whole backstory, but Camilla has transformed Charles. I mean, the man looks completely different. A friend of mine who actually had dinner recently with them, Charles was actually, you know, stayed longer downstairs than Camilla, and he said he'd never seen a man so happily take 2 stairs at a time to go and see his wife upstairs. Yeah. The man is just unapologetically happy, and that makes a difference to him, you know?
Talking of happiness, is Prince Harry happy? I mean, look, my views about him and Meghan Markle are pretty well known. I'm not going to labour the point. You do lots of fascinating research in your book about this. I mean, you're pretty scathing about Meghan. I mean, you're sympathetic in some ways, but you're quite scathing.
I don't think I am scathing about her, actually. I feel that I've got inside that situation in a way that has a lot of many dimensions.
Sum it up simply.
Meghan simply didn't realise, didn't understand how different the monarchy is from the inside to what it looks like from the outside. From the outside, it's palaces, it's global tours, it's being, you know, adored, it's being one of the most famous people in the world. From inside, you know, it can be really dull. It is grunt work.
But she gave it 18 months. I mean, I just can't buy this. I think she's genuinely planned the whole thing. I think she thought, I'll come in, hoover up this prince, yank him back to California and become the new Angelina and Brad Pitt.
I think she thought, honestly, that she could play a different kind of princess, that she could actually... I don't think she went in there thinking, I'm going to snatch Harry out of there. I think she thought she was going to be able to be this global humanitarian princess. The problem was that Harry was actually, by that time, 6th in line to the throne. He's not, although he's a global superstar, inside the palace hierarchy, he's not really such a big deal.
I mean, I don't really have a... Look, if they want to go and live in California and lead the life they want to lead, everyone should be allowed to lead the lives they want to lead. No one can force them to do what they do. My central problem with the situation now is that they want to keep their royal titles, which make them all the money from Netflix, Spotify and so on. They don't want to do any of the duty that comes with the titles, and they want to go on national television quite regularly and trash the institution of the monarchy and the royal family as a bunch of callous racists, which causes incalculable damage. I mean, you see it in the Commonwealth now when they're going on these tours and getting some adverse reaction. A lot of that comes back to Meghan Markle, the first non-white member of the royal family, calling them a bunch of racists, not saying who it was.
Well, I mean, I think that actually that Harry is on a pretty good mojo right now. I mean, because he started in...
Do you think so? He looks like completely lost to me.
Well, I did think that actually for a while, but I do think just recently he's got his mojo back. I think that Invictus that he invented was a brilliant success.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I mean, this is his legacy, and actually for Harry, that should be his complete focus and brand.
But he doesn't talk to his brother, William, right? I mean, that's pretty clear in the book as well.
I think it's a very unhappy situation between him and his brother, and actually I think it's weakening for William as much as it is for Harry not to have that fraternal bond.
But they were a great team. That's the
They were a great
I mean,
team.
it feels like we've lost this guy. He doesn't look that happy to me. Someone who else is not remotely happy will be Prince Andrew. And many will say, well, he shouldn't be. The Queen, I thought it was remarkable at Philip's memorial service that she wanted Andrew to walk down the aisle with him. It was a really big statement by the Queen. I mean, I thought misguided, but actually other people thought it's her son and it was his father he was honouring. What did you think?
Well, I mean, what is so fascinating about the Queen is where she's always been able to compartmentalise sovereign, HRH, the Queen, from mother, grandmother and a private world. And actually, one of the things that I learnt during this piece is that in the family, they all know who they're going to see. Are they going to see the sovereign because they're going to talk about matters of import to them?
Or is it mummy and granny?
Or is it mummy and granny? Now, like any big CEO, like Logan Roy's family, I mean, they like to snip through sometimes.
I mean, he thinks he's dysfunctional, Logan Roy. Wait till you see the royals, right?
Exactly. But actually, it all works just the same as Succession. I mean,
there's some fantastic descriptions of public figures in your book, Tina. Who's this? Who you describe as an editorial swashbuckler, an 800-pound gorilla of British TV, and the young Lord of Misrule who revelled in transgression. Any clues?
Stand up, Piers Morgan. It is you. It is you. I mean, listen, you were the great sort of prince of the 90s, Piers. I mean,
less of the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, the prince of the 90s. I mean, you were unbelievable. And actually, I still believe that your diaries are absolutely amazing classic, and I want to see them, on ice and singing and dancing.
A movie, maybe?
I think they are a portrait of an age, the 90s, which are unbelievable. One of the most amazing stories you tell in that diary is how when Princess Diana brought Prince William... No, you went to lunch at Kensington Palace.
With William and Diana,
and Prince... I mean, think about it. Can you...
2 hours of everything.
2 hours.
And what struck me, William was 13 and she told him everything.
Everything.
Absolutely everything.
Well, that was what's so incredible. I mean, can you imagine today, I hope it might happen, but I suspect it won't, that the Duchess of Cambridge would invite you and you, Piers, over to lunch with her and Prince Georgie.
If you're watching, Your Royal Highness, I am available.
I think
they actually send their kids to one of the schools that my kids went to, their sister school.
But it was an Ask Me Anything lunch, right? No. And you asked her anything you wanted.
You spend a lot of time in America, and as do I. Prince Charles is trying to woo his American fans. This happened yesterday, in fact. He went to a school in South London and was shown how to throw an American football. So before we show it, look at Tom Brady throwing one.
Oh, that's cool.
It's man. Drop out and play zone sometimes. I can protect it. That leaves
now let's cut to Prince Charles throwing his. Actually, not bad. I mean, I just thought that was good.
Not bad.
Given his age and lack of experience. Tina,
But you know who could have done that brilliantly is Prince Harry, because I was actually told, which is very interesting, that Prince Harry, the reason that he was such a great soldier, such a great shot, he has perfect hand-eye coordination.
Really?
Yeah, he is brilliant at throwing balls out.
Well, let's end on a happy note with Prince Harry. Tina Brown, The Palace Papers, it's a riveting read. Honestly, I love the Diana book. I love this one. I'm going to read it thoroughly, gorge on it, not least about myself. Good luck with the book and lovely to see you.
Thank you, Piers. Good luck with this show.
Thank you. Great to have you here in the studio.